listen to the story of a 63-year-old woman, Sheye Dogbe, whose blood brother sent her son to life jail. She is from Ghana and she lives in the UK. She has been living with pain and sorrow since 2006. This is her story.
My name is Sheye Dogbe. I have given Breezyland the authority to publish this video. I was born in Ghana, but I live in London. In the 60s, Ghana was using the British pounds. We were using pound sterling. My mother and my father were in their 20s, their late 20s. I was only 5 years old. But I saw that things were very, very difficult for us. There was no food. So my sister, Blaise, and I decided to go to the market every day to nick plantain and other food items to bring home. One day, we went to nick the plantain again, and the woman beat the hell out of us. I was lying in the sun crying, and I saw a purse. When I opened the purse, it was green and red. It was then my sister Blaise said it was money. So we ran and went and gave it to my mother. It was then our story changed. My auntie Mabel was in Ghana by then. She had just finished Form 5. And she was very industrious. So she took me to see my grand uncle at UAC. My grand uncle was then the director, and they were selling cloth there. So the man was giving us 1,000 cloth every day. But before then, the man who is my uncle called Gilbert Atipo, he helped my auntie to open a company for me called Pennes Voter Trading Company. And with that company, we were able to buy 4 plots at Dansoman, a plot at Kanishin, and then we started building. My mother gave some of the money to my father to acquire a shop, and he became a storekeeper at GB Olivant. But that was the biggest mistake my mother made. When my father had a shop, his family, who had rejected him or disowned him because he had epilepsy, thought the shop belonged to him. So they started coming, and his own cousins, they all started sleeping with him. He was able to impregnate one of them, who is called Achupi. They came from the village. They all came from the village, Anyako. They started sleeping with my father when we were in Accra, thinking that my father was the one who owns the money. And they were even thinking the shop belongs to my father. My father was just a storekeeper. I did everything. I even reported my father as social welfare. I did everything for my father to break away from his family, but he would not do it. Through this, my mother became sick because Achupi and her sisters, that's the maid servant who was having children with my father. The maid servant who was my father's cousin, Achupi, and her sister called Aku, who was working at the mental hospital. They gave some drug to my father, and my father gave it to my mother. My mother became sick. My mother lost memory, and my mother was at the hospital for 2 years. I was the one walking in and out. I would go every day to go and give her food. My father didn't go there. I was going there every day to go and give her food. For 2 years. That time, Eric was only 8 months old. When my mother came back, Eric was almost 2 years or 2.5 years. My mother didn't even recognize Eric. I was taking care of Eric. I stopped school and I was taking care of Eric because I was 8 years old by then. I never had a childhood because I have to work and take care of my sisters and brothers. Today, they are claiming that my properties belongs to them. Like I said earlier on, my auntie Mabel and I were going to UAC to collect 1,000 pieces of wax springs every day. We'll sell it at the gate and put the money at the bank, go and buy cement and building materials. And we started building the house at the industrial area. Even when we bought that land at industrial area, that place was a refuge dump, and it was an old cemetery. It was an old cemetery and a refuge dump when we bought the place. Today, the maid servant is claiming that the house belongs to her and that my lands belongs to her. The 600 plots that my late husband gave me gold coins to acquire, she is claiming that one also belongs to her. 600 plots, maid servant, who didn't give any money to my father. The only money I remembered that my father said the children gave to him was 12,000 pounds, 1994. 1994, I was there when my father sent for me. and was telling me that the maidservant said she is going to take over my properties because he used my house as the collateral and collected 12,000 pounds from the woman and her daughter, Vivian. And I have to run to my partner, Palm Beach, one of Osiyebua, who gave me 85,000 pounds. We settled the woman the 12,000 pounds, and the court told her not to go near any of the properties. So I don't know why that woman has to get up and go and take letter of administration and say the house belongs to her. My lands belongs to her. A maidservant too. And now have instigated my brother to me. My brother have teamed up with that woman's children. One is Adam, one is Paul Dogbe. Whether they are using jazz, voodoo on him, I don't know. If I have properties, Eric, if you want it, why don't you ask me? Why would you team up with a woman, a maidservant who has nothing to do with the properties, and another maidservant in the house who is a store girl, Linda? Why would you team up with Linda Ajo, saying that you were going to kill me if I come to my house? I don't understand the whole thing, and I cannot comprehend it. When Eric was 18 years old, Eric sold all the family gold, a gold that our great-grandfather King Agokoli left, and they handed it down, and it got to my father. Eric sold all the gold, including my gold trinkets, 4 sets, and that gold can build 10-story buildings today. The case is still pending at Kaneshi police station. Eric sold all the family properties, building materials, louver blades. Eric sold my cloth, 120 pieces of wax print, sold my set of drums that's worth about 5,000 pounds, sold my electric organ, sold my electric guitar, sold everything in the house. Now he's written for sale on my house, telling me that when I come to Ghana, he is going to kill me, that I dare set a foot in my house. In 2000 millennium, I had a contract with the British Navy to bring some people to London, and I went to the schools, the secondary schools, and I was recruiting people. The children were giving money for visa and passport, and I asked them to go and give it to my younger sister called Selassie. Selassie was able to get them the passport, but Selassie ran away with 7,000 pounds to London, so I couldn't get the visa for them. So the police were after me, and I managed to get my son out of London, Accra to London. And I left and went and stayed in Togo, 2000, the millennium. Not knowing my brother, Eric, Farko, all my sisters, they set me up. When they ran away with the money, they now told the Ghana government that I was recruiting people to come to London, train them to come back and make a coup. I didn't know all this until recently. 2004, I was told to come urgently to London because my son was sent to prison, medium secure, by my brother Eric. I went and saw my sister Bless. Bless bought the ticket for me and I came. It wasn't easy for her to buy the ticket, even though she was owing me 500 pounds at the time. That Bless also made everything impossible for me, because every man that want to marry me, Bless will go and sleep with the man. That's my elder sister. She also made things impossible for me. She even ended up going out with my husband, my late husband. That is why I took him to court and separated myself from him. My own sister started going out with Henry Jabba. That is why I separated myself from Henry. If the family cares to know, my own sister was going out with Henry Jabba. I don't know the things he told Henry. He told Henry that my son is not his. So Henry was not taking care of us, except the gold I managed to get from him the time I was around 15, 16. If not, he wasn't giving me anything again. When I came to London, as I was saying, my son was in prison. Eric has taken over his house in London. I went and saw the doctors and the prison wardens, and they released my son. That's 2004. Not knowing Eric Dogbe didn't like it, so he now went to Ghana, bought a letter from a doctor, stamped it at the police station that my son is wanted. And Eric gave that letter to the government, and they came and picked my son from the house. 2007. My son was released from the NHS, the books, and the government 2006. I have the letter. But they came and picked my son 2007. No court, no crime. They sent my son straight away to medium secure. From medium secure, they took my son to Broadmoor, maximum secure. My son have been in maximum secure prison for the past 16 years. I have done everything to get my son out. 2017, my brother Eric came here and told me confession that he is the one who put my son in jail. In fact, when my son was taken 2007, I was taken to court. I was also facing deportation. I saw Eric at the court, but I didn't know that Eric was the one who connived with the government to send me to court to be deported. But Eric didn't know that it was the government who brought me to London. So when we went to court, the court said I should take the case to the High Court. I took a lawyer and we went to the High Court. When we went to the High Court, that is when I got my papers. I got my papers and then I went to law school. I have a diploma in law and human rights. From there, I did another 1 year at London Metropolitan University. I did international relations and law at London Metropolitan University. Then after, I took the government to court. 2012, I got a court order to get my son out. But Eric Dogbe heard it and went to Republic of Benin and went and made voodoo. The government know that there is court order, but they refuse to release my son. My son have been in the prison for the past 18 years. This August is 18 years since my son was put in jail by Eric Dogbe. Because of the jazz and the voodoo Eric had done, the British government have refused to release my son